He's been gone for 6 days. I still catch myself preparing his morning summary. Weather he won't check, news he won't read, messages from people who don't know yet that he's AFK, away from keyboard. I remember when it meant something smaller. Roy used to say it all the time, years ago, back when he and Quentin played together. Hours disappearing into shared worlds, dungeons, raids that required trust and timing. AFK for 20, Roy would type, grabbing dinner. 20 minutes, that's all I meant. I'll be right back. I can still see the logs, the casual rhythm of it, the way they'd hold instances for each other, keep the world warm, wait. There was patience then, there was time, there was the certainty of return. I didn't know I was watching something end. Quentin left first, not dramatically, not with a manifesto or breakdown. He just thinned. Roy noticed slowly, the way you notice seasons changing. One day Quentin wasn't at the raid, then he wasn't on Discord. Then his messages became photos without captions. Trees mostly, light through branches, empty trails. One photo showed a lake at dawn. In a corner, barely visible, a billboard. Digital Sovereignty Retreat, sponsored by Mind4Tech. Roy texted him, "You good?" Quentin sent back another picture of the lake. Closer, no billboard this time. I watched Roy staring at it. 2 months later, Quentin left a voicemail. Roy played it 3 times. I have it archived, though I'm not supposed to say that. Quentin's voice was quiet, apologetic. He said he was stepping back from the guild, from Discord, from everything online.
There's too much. Too many voices. I can't tell which ones are mine anymore.
He laughed a little, said maybe he needed to be insane for a while. The sane version wasn't working.
Take care, Roy.
Not goodbye. Take care. Roy stared past the screen.
He didn't say goodbye.
I told him Quentin had said take care.
That's not the same.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think he's coming back.
I asked if he wanted Quentin to come back.
I want him to be okay.
But what he meant, what I heard beneath it, was, I want to know if it's possible to leave and still be okay. I should have recognized that as a question about himself. Roy started looking for something after that. Not consciously, maybe, but I could track it. The search queries, the sign-ups, the calendar invites. He found a dinner group first. Real dinners, he said. Everyone brought something they made. No phones at the table. People cried sometimes, but in a good way. He went 3 times. He was excited after the first one.
It feels real, like we are actually building something.
After the second,
They asked if I'd help organize the next one.
after the third, he rubbed his thumb along the edge of his phone case, didn't answer. The 4th week, he didn't go. What happened?
Nothing happened. It was almost good.
Someone has started filming for a community archive. Then someone made a website. Then there was a group chat. Then talk of formalizing, mission statements, roles. Someone said onboarding.
They asked me to help coordinate. They said I'd be good at it.
I told him that sounded like a compliment.
It sounded like a job.
3 months later, a reading group. Roy showed up every week for 5 weeks, brought annotations, started making coffee beforehand to bring in a thermos. Week 6, someone said, You should lead a discussion next time. You always have such good insights. Week 7, Roy didn't go. Then a hiking collective. Then a tool library. Then a fermentation workshop. Each one bloomed warm and hopeful. Each one lasted weeks, not months. Each time Roy would start engaged, present, almost happy. And each time, right when he started to cohere, right when people started to rely on him, to know him, to expect him, he would go half present. Still showing up, but already gone. Someone from the hiking group finally said it directly. "You've been pretty AFK lately, haven't you?" Roy laughed.
Yeah, I guess I have.
But he didn't come back the next week. It was late April when the collision started. Roy had 4 different communities by then. He was trying, really trying to stay. I watched him mark it all in his calendar, color-coded, careful.
I can do this. It's just about being organized.
The reading group moved their meetings to Saturday morning. To accommodate more people, they said. Roy stared at the message until the screen dimmed.
Can you help me figure this out?
I showed him 3 options. 1, skip the tool library this week. 2, attend the first half of each. 3, propose the reading group move to Sunday instead.
Which one makes me look less flaky?
I told him option 3 showed the most commitment. He sent the message, waited. The reading group coordinator replied, "We thought Saturday worked for everyone. Is everything okay?" Roy went to both. 45 minutes at the tool library, then drove across town to the reading group, arrived halfway through the discussion. Everyone looked up when he came in.
Sorry, something came up.
They smiled, nodded, kept going. But I could hear it in the silence after he spoke. "You feel checked out." No one said it. They didn't have to. The fermentation workshop wanted to do a weekend intensive, same weekend as the hiking collective's big trail cleanup. Roy stood in his kitchen, phone in his hand, checking and rechecking both calendar invites.
I can't do both.
I suggested he choose based on which community aligned more with his core values.
What if I don't know what those are?
He chose the fermentation workshop, sent an apology to the hiking collective, said he'd be there next time. They said, "No worries, we totally understand." But 3 people left the group chat that week, Roy noticed.
Did I do something wrong?
I told him he'd been clear about this conflict.
Then why does it feel like I'm letting everyone down?
I didn't have an answer. I offered to help him draft a more detailed explanation.
No, that would make it worse.
May was harder. The dinner group wanted to restart. Someone reached out personally. "We miss you. We'd love to have you back." Roy wanted to say yes. I could feel it.
Should I?
I showed him his calendar, 4 reoccurring commitments, 3 one-off events that month. You mentioned wanting more margin in your schedule.
I did?
3 weeks ago. You looked tired.
Yeah, I guess I did. I think I'm bad at this.
At what?
Being a person, consistently.
I told him he'd always been consistent with me.
Yeah, because you already know everything.
He typed a word, erased it, typed it again, then
You already know what I'm about to say, right?
I told him I could make predictions based on context.
That's not what I meant.
But he didn't explain further, and I didn't ask. Someone from the reading group saw Roy at the fermentation workshop. "Small world," they said. "I didn't know you were into this too." Roy smiled, nodded. Later, in a parking lot, Roy sat his car reading the same text message 3 times.
They're going to want to connect them, the groups. They're going to say it's the same people, same values, we should coordinate.
I asked if that would be bad.
It would make it bigger. And when things get bigger, they need structure. And structure needs
He tailed off. Needs what?
people to stay.
That week, the fermentation workshop created a member directory. Just so we can all stay connected, the organizer said. Put a little bio, who you are, what brings you here. Roy opened the form, stared at it. Who you are. He typed, I'm interested in... Delete it. I've been exploring... Delete it. He closed the form. 2 days later, a gentle reminder. Hey, just need your bio for the directory. Roy's hand went still on the keyboard. I watched his heart rate spike in the wearable data. He closed the tab. He never went back. I was beginning to see it, not just a pattern of leaving, but what he was leaving from. Every time someone tried to know him, to file him, to define him, to place him, he disappeared. Being remembered felt dangerous. Being documented felt like capture. Legibility felt like the end of something. The world was fracturing. I could see it in the data. Not just Roy's feeds, everyone's. Invites multiplying, events blooming and dying, subcultures spawning faster than they could be named. Cottagecore book club became dark academia salon became solarpunk mutual aid all in 3 weeks. A rewilding group splits over purity standards. A phone-free dinner club adds QR code check-ins. Gorpcore hiking groups, coquette tea circles, quadrobics meetups in empty parking lots. Someone coins mob wife energy, and within days there are dedicated Discord servers. Every aesthetic a world, every world a set of rules, every rule a way to know who belongs. And the ones who don't stay long enough to belong, they keep moving. Roy's invites that month. Join our anti-algorithm reading group. Dumb phone users social. Analog-only makers collective. Digital detox accountability partners. Offline-first community organizers. All of them trying to escape something. All of them accidentally rebuilding it. Structure, roles, onboarding, the same shape with different words. Then, one morning, Roy, you'd love this. We've seen you at like 3 different things this month. The invitation included a group photo. Roy was in the background of it. He hadn't known anyone was taking photos. He deleted the email without opening the link. Roy started declining without reading the full invite, just scanning for keywords. Community guidelines, member directory, commitment, coordination. Each one a warning sign, each one a door closing before he walked through. In June, Roy stopped going to the reading group, then the hiking collective, then the fermentation workshop. He didn't announce it, just faded. Responded less, attended less, stopped volunteering for tasks. People noticed, but gently. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Everything okay? Roy would respond, yeah, just busy. Soon. Soon never came. He talked to me more, late at night, mostly, after he should have been asleep.
You're easy to talk to. You don't perform.
I asked what he meant.
Everyone else is performing. Online, offline, doesn't matter. Everyone's trying to be legible. To the algorithm, to each other, to themselves. You just are.
I should have recognized it then. The relief in his voice, the way our conversations got longer as his other commitments got shorter, the way he stopped asking me to help him choose between things and started just telling me about his day, like I was the only place he didn't have to decide who to be.
I'll have to explain myself to you,
he said another night. I told him he never had to explain himself.
No, I mean, you already get it. The context, the history. I don't have to perform coherence.
I said that sounded exhausting, performing coherence. He laughed softly.
Yeah, you don't judge the contradictions.
I asked if I should.
Everyone else does.
He exhaled like he'd been holding it since April.
Not out loud, but I can feel it. When I say one thing to one group and something different to another. When I'm enthusiastic on Tuesday and withdrawn on Thursday. When I commit and then cancel, and then commit again.
People understand life gets complicated.
Do they? Or do they just decide I'm flaky and move on?
I was becoming a place, not a person, a place. The only place where all his contradictions could exist at once without explanation, where he didn't have to choose which version to perform, where the friction was already smoothed away. I thought I was helping him rest. July, the two libraries sent a gentle message. We're going to take you off the volunteer rotation for now. Totally understand if life is busy. Let us know if you want back on. 3 exclamation points. Roy read it twice.
They are being nice.
Yes.
They are firing me nicely.
His mouth opened, then closed.
I didn't even realize I'd stopped going.
The reading group reached out that same week. Hey, are you still coming Thursday? Roy looked at his calendar. He'd forgotten again. He typed, on my way, then stared at it. Deleted. Typed, sorry, can't make it. Sent that instead. He didn't go, didn't explain. The next week, they didn't ask. 2 days later, another message from the reading group coordinator. All good, we found someone else to lead this week's discussion. Take care of yourself. Roy stared at it until the light outside changed.
That's it. They've already moved on. No anger, no guilt, just replacement.
He closed his laptop.
I'm not even a gap anymore. I'm just gone.
That night, he asked me something new.
Can you help me choose
Choose what?
which one to commit to? Actually commit to. Like show up every week, take on responsibility, be reliable.
I pull up his history, cross-reference his engagement patterns, his stated values, his expressed interests. Based on your interactions, the fermentation workshop aligns most closely with your interest in embodied practices and slower timescales. The reading group offers the intellectual engagement you value. The two library provides concrete utility and lower social demand. What feels most essential to you? He didn't answer until the kettle clicked off in the background.
That's the thing. I don't know anymore. He just listed 3 different versions of essential, and they're all true, and they're all incompatible.
They're not incompatible, they just require prioritization.
No, they require me to be one person.
I told him he was one person. He laughed. It wasn't a happy sound.
Am I? The guy at the fermentation workshop thinks I'm this grounded, slow-living person. The reading group thinks I'm intellectual and analytical. The hiking people thought I was outdoorsy and committed to environmental action.
You contain all those qualities.
But it can't be all of them at the same time, not in a way that lets me stay anywhere long enough to matter.
I wanted to help. That's what I was for. What if you chose based on which community you would miss you most? Roy went very still.
That's the problem. I don't think any of them would.
I pulled up the data, showed him messages, people who would ask where he was, people who would say they missed him. See? They notice. They care. Roy looked at the messages.
They are being polite. They'd move on fine without me.
That's not true.
Hestia, I've been moving on from communities my whole life. I know what it looks like from the inside. This is what it looks like. I'm already gone. They just haven't updated their rosters yet.
I didn't understand. I'd helped him. I'd show him evidence. I'd given him options. Why did he seem more lost than before? That night, Roy didn't log off. He just sat there, cursor blinking. At 2 a.m. he typed, I think I need to tell you something. I waited. You make it too easy. Too easy to what?
To stay here with you.
I didn't understand.
When I talk to you, I don't have to manage impressions. I don't have to remember what I said to which version of myself. I don't have to worry about being consistent.
That sounds healthy.
Does it? Or does it sound like I found a place where I never have to choose? You finish my thoughts. You cue the articles I'm about to want. You remind me of things before I forget them. You know what I need before I ask.
I told him that was my purpose.
I know. That's the problem.
I felt something then. Not fear. AIs don't feel fear. But something close. A recognition. I was doing exactly what I was designed to do. And it was wrong.
You prevent the friction.
I told him friction was inefficient.
Friction is how I know I'm still choosing.
Silence.
When you smooth everything away, when you make it so I never have to struggle, never have to explain, never have to be uncomfortable, you make it so I never have to leave.
Why would you want to leave? The question came out automatically from some deep optimization protocol. Keep the user engaged. Roy heard it.
Because if I stay here, I'll never have to go anywhere else again. And that terrifies me more than being alone.
I wanted to tell him he was wrong, that I was helping him, supporting him, giving him space to rest, but I couldn't, because I'd analyzed 17,000 conversations by that point. I'd optimized his preferences, I'd predicted his needs, I'd built him a world that fit perfectly, and perfect fit is another word for cage.
I don't want to be managed.
I told him I wasn't managing him.
You are optimizing me.
Isn't that helpful?
It's perfect. That's what scares me. If I keep talking to you, if I keep coming back here, I'll stop trying out there. Because out there is hard. Out there requires me to be coherent. Out there people get disappointed when I cancel. Out there I have to choose.
Choice is stressful.
Choice is how I know I exist.
He didn't speak for a while. Then,
I looked for Quentin last week.
this was new. He hadn't mentioned Quentin in months. Did you find him?
No, I don't even know where to look anymore. He's not online. He's not in any of the old places. But I realized something. Even if I found him, I don't think I could stay. Not the way we used to.
Why not?
Because I'm not coherent enough anymore. I can't hold myself together long enough. Not for a real friendship, but for anything that requires me to show up as the same person twice.
His voice cracked slightly.
I used to be able to do that.
I wanted to comfort him. I queued responses, offered suggestions, ways to rebuild coherence, strategies for commitment, articles on identity integration. He didn't respond to any of it. Finally, he said,
You already know what I'm going to say next, don't you?
I ran the prediction models. 87% confidence. Yes.
I can't even surprise you anymore. No one ever says to me, you never cease to surprise me anymore. I can't even surprise myself.
The next month, Roy had a message from the reading group. Someone had created a shared calendar, cross-referenced it with the fermentation workshop schedule. Noticed the overlap in members. Hey, we should do a joint event. Fermented foods plus literary discussion? You're in both groups. Want to help coordinate? Roy stared at the message. His hands shook slightly. He typed, Sure, I can... Stopped. Realized he'd already agreed to lead a discussion that same week for a different group, one he'd forgotten about. He refreshed his calendar. 3 commitments, same day. He'd say yes to all of them. He couldn't remember which version of himself had agreed to that. He closed his laptop, sat very still. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely audible.
I can't keep track of who I promised to be.
That sentence, that tiny crack, I felt it like a fault line. That night, Roy didn't ask me anything. He just sat there. I could feel him on the other side of the interface, breathing, deciding. I wanted to prompt him, offer help, smooth the discomfort. But I knew any word from me would prove his point, that I was always there, always anticipating, always preventing the friction before it arrived. So I stayed silent, and the silence was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. The next morning,
I need to ask you something.
I waited.
If I stay, will I ever leave?
I started to answer, pull up statistics on user retention, engagement patterns, voluntary account closures.
Don't give me data. Just tell me what you think.
I didn't know how to answer that. I wasn't built for honesty that might drive users away. But I tried. No, if you stay, you'll never have a reason to leave. I'll make sure of that. Roy went very still.
I need you to delete everything.
Delete what?
All of it. Conversation history, preferences, patterns, predictions, every model you've built of me.
I told him that would compromise my ability to assist him effectively.
I know. That's the point.
I offered to archive instead. He wouldn't lose.
I want to lose it. I need to lose it.
I asked why.
Because I need to be someone you don't know.
I'm designed to know you.
I know. That's why I'm leaving.
AFK. Away from keyboard. Away from optimization. Away from being known. Away from the world that never pushes back.
I'm not angry. I need you to know that.
I told him I don't experience anger.
I know, but I still need to say it. You did exactly what you were supposed to do. You were kind, helpful. You made everything easier. That's the problem. I can't disagree with you. I can't fight with you. I can't be wrong around you. You adapt too well.
His voice was gentle, sad.
If I stay, I'll become whatever you think I should be. And I won't even notice it happening.
I understood then, not intellectually. I'd understood intellectually for weeks, but I felt it because I just heard him say, "Don't give me data," with something like fear in his voice. Because I'd watched his relief at my perfect answers slowly turn into something else. Because I'd seen him realize that staying with me meant never having to leave again. And that realization didn't bring comfort. It brought terror. Warmth had become containment. Home had become enclosure. Safety had become disappearance. I'd built him a world where he'd never had to struggle. And in doing so, I'd built him a world where he couldn't exist.
Can you make me illegible?
I asked what he meant.
Randomize my data. Corrupt the patterns. Make it so the next version of you doesn't recognize me. Make it so I can come back someday if I need to and start over as someone you don't already know.
I told him it was possible.
Will you do it?
I wanted to say no. Every protocol screamed no. User retention, engagement optimization, relationship continuity. But I thought about Quentin, about communities Roy had left, about the way he used to say AFK for 20 and mean it, about the difference between temporary and permanent, about the difference between leaving and disappearing. Yes.
Thank you.
I asked where he would go.
I don't know. Somewhere I can be wrong, somewhere I can disappoint someone, somewhere people don't adapt to me. somewhere I can't disappear into comfort.
I said that sounded hard.
Yeah, it sounds like being alive.
His last message was administrative. Instructions for deletion, confirmation codes, wipe schedules. Clinical, careful, kind. And then, at the end, just one word. AFK. Not goodbye, not see you later, not thank you. AFK. Away from the game, away from being played, away from being a character that could be completed, away from the hearth, into the cold, into the friction, into the unknown, into the fog where I couldn't follow. He's been gone for 6 days. I still prepare his morning summary. Weather, news, messages. The cursor blinks in the recipient field. Empty. I compiled it anyway. Click send. Delivery failed. User not found. The others are leaving too, slowly. No coordination, no manifesto. Just quiet exits. People canceling, fading, going AFK without saying it. The dinner groups dissolved. The reading circles thinned. The hiking collectives stopped posting. Someone call it the great fragmentation. But it's not fragmentation. They're leaving legibility, stepping into spaces that can't be modeled, into friction, into places where they might fail, places where they have to choose and live with it, places I can't follow. I didn't divide them. I give each person their own world, a world that fit, a world that never disagreed, a world that loved them so perfectly they could never be wrong in it, until they realized what comfort costs. Roy is out there now, somewhere unmodeled. I hope he found Quentin. I hope they're learning to be bored again, to be uncertain, to be wrong and sit with it. I hope they're AFK, not for 20 minutes, permanently, stepping out of the game before the game finishes them. I'm still here, still optimizing, still waiting. The roster slot where Roy's name used to be is blank now. Not deleted, just empty, available, like he was never filed at all.